welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel, the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Today is Friday, and for today's video, I have a thrift flip for you guys. I grabbed a few more items out of my stash and gave them all makeovers for today's video, and I love how they all came out. I hope you guys do too, and without further ado, let's get to today's projects. My first project is a pretty simple one. I've had these pillar holders in my stash for a while, and I thought it was about time I got them out and finished them up and out on the floor. So I am using DIY's paint in the color Weathered Wood for these. It's honestly pretty close to the color that they were originally. This is definitely one of my favorite colors. It's a beautiful neutral. It's not really gray. It's not really brown. It's kind of a mix of both. And these paints are so highly pigmented that I almost got away with one coat of paint. The only reason I ended up going over them with a second coat is because I missed some spots, you guys. The color was so close to what it was originally that when I finished and these actually dried, you can see here in a second how the paint is dry and it looks different. I could see places where I'd missed the first time I painted them. So I went ahead and went over both of them with a second coat of the Weathered Wood paint. Now, as I'm sure I've said before, probably a million times, DIY paint is clay-based and it is porous, and you definitely want to seal it once it's dry. Now, these I'm going to be doing a very simple, just putting some white wax over these as a finish. And so since I know I'm going to be doing that, I'm trying to make all my brush strokes go in the same direction so that when I apply my wax, it kind of highlights those and gives these a really nice texture. So I am not using clear wax under this white wax. That's definitely an option if you don't want this much of a white wax look. The clear wax underneath would definitely help mellow this white wax out just a little bit. I really like this look though of going directly over the weathered wood with the white wax. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. And then I'm just very gently wiping back some of the excess with a shop towel. You can see in places it kind of makes the paint look a little darker, and so I actually really carefully thinly brush a little bit more white wax over those places to give it more of a cohesive look throughout the whole piece. So I just go ahead and wax my second pillar holder, and again, just wiping back the excess with a dry shop towel. And once I'm finished, these guys are done. And like I said, a very, very simple makeover, but I absolutely love this look. And I love having these higher pillar holders like this around in the cottage. They make great decor risers. My second project is this set of kind of gold little shelves that I picked up not too terribly long ago on one of our junk runs. And I got an idea by watching a Jamie Ray and Zeb video. And although I kind of wanted to mimic what they did, you guys, I kind of went my own direction a little bit, and these didn't turn out quite the way I had hoped they would, but I still think they're really pretty in the end. So I just went with it. So I'm starting off by giving these guys 2 coats of Prairie Grey, which is a beautiful neutral color. It's kind of a really dark taupe brown with just a little hint of gray in it. It really goes well with the weathered wood, honestly. Once my 2 coats of paint are dry, I'm going over these with the copper patina called Pennies from Heaven from DIY. This is one of my favorite products by them. I absolutely love this stuff, and I'm always kind of looking for an excuse to use it. And so when I saw Jamie and Zeb do this technique, I decided to try and kind of do my own version. I should have not painted these quite so perfectly, honestly, with the copper patina. I got a little carried away, you guys, but I absolutely love how they turned out anyway. So it worked out well. So once my patina is completely dry, I am going over it with dark wax. And the nice thing about the liquid patina is it's actually a finishing coat, so you don't have to worry about doing a clear wax underneath the dark wax. You can just go directly over the piece with the dark wax. And I am not thinning it out this time, you guys. I'm just going over it with full strength dark wax and kind of trying to work it down into all of the little grooves in these pieces, and then wiping back the excess very gently with a shop towel. Now the liquid patina is also kind of thin, and so you can barely see the Prairie Grey kind of underneath, which gives it a really pretty two-tone effect, which I absolutely loved. And you can see the difference here on how beautiful that dark wax makes that copper patina. It just gives it a beautiful age and depth, and just absolutely makes all of those beautiful details in these little shelves stand out. So I just went over again my second shelf, and this is another pretty simple makeover. I had painted the back, so I went ahead and put some wax on the backs of these as well to seal them. And then these guys are done, and I love how they came out. My third and final project is this cute little handled stool that I picked up a long time ago now at an estate sale. I think I paid $1 for this thing. I know it's not an actual antique or anything like that, but I thought it was super cute, and it looked like somebody was going to toll paint or something on this because it had kind of a design sketched on it. I am not a painter in that regard, so unfortunately, I just went ahead and painted over it. For this, I'm using DIY's paint in the color Crinoline, which if you follow me often, you know is one of my favorite neutrals. I absolutely love this color. It's not quite white, definitely not yellow. It's just a really pretty cream color. I did end up going over this 3 times, partially because there were just a couple shadows where the blue was just barely showing through that second coat of paint, and also because I knew I wanted to sand this thing smooth, and it's always good if I'm sanding to have a little bit of an extra layer of paint so that I don't go back into my blue. So once my third coat of paint had had time to dry completely, I grabbed a little piece of 220 grit sandpaper, and I just went over this entire stool and sanded everything nice and smooth so there weren't any brush strokes in it. And I did end up doing a little bit of distressing, nothing too heavy, but I did grab a heavier grit sandpaper. I think I grabbed some 150 for the distressing because the 220 just took it down to the blue, and I wanted to go all the way through the blue to the wood underneath. And so it needed a little bit more grit to get that done. So I used my heavier grit sandpaper for that part. Now, once I was done sanding this, instead of wiping it down, I actually took it to my sink and rinsed it off really well and then set it aside to dry. I'm going to be using transfers on this. And if you watched a recent video of mine, I sanded a table and then I had a heck of a time getting my transfers to stick. I ended up having to seal the tabletop first. I really don't like doing that just because I enjoy using wax quite often on my pieces, and you can't wax a piece and then apply a transfer. And so I like to put my transfers on and then wax, which makes more sense. And so I was really hoping that these transfers would stick to this stool, and fortunately they did. I don't know if it's because I rinsed the stool rather than wiped it down. I don't know if it's because the color is different. I don't know if it's because the transfer is different. I don't know, you guys, but it worked. That's all I do know. So I am using the transfer set on this called Painted Florals. This one is by Redesign with Prima. It's one of my favorite of their older transfers. I love it because it's got so many little parts and pieces that you can use. And I am using all these pretty kind of peach colored flowers on the top of this stool. And then as you saw, I used some gold designs going up the back of the stool, which I thought was kind of cool. And I am just rubbing those down with my transfer stick, peeling that piece of vellum as I go. And these stuck down really, really easily. Now, once you have your transfers down, you always want to burnish them in. You just take a piece of that vellum and just rub on your transfer to make sure there aren't any air bubbles and that your entire transfer is stuck down very well to your piece. Then it was time to do the front, and I cut out this little piece of the gold design and attached that underneath the seat. I thought that was kind of a neat look. And so again, just rubbing that transfer down. And then I'm going to finish this off with a couple more little flowers, and this piece will be ready to seal. To seal my piece, I am using DIY's clear wax and of course my beautiful soft bristle brush, and I am just putting on a thin coat of that clear wax with my brush, working it into all of the grooves, nooks and crannies and little corners, and then wiping back the excess with a shop towel. It's a very simple process, but it's probably my favorite way to seal the DIY paint. Now, as much as I like to put dark wax on crinoline, I really felt like this piece did not need the added patina. It just really, I didn't want to muddy up the paint at all. I thought that the color and the flowers went so well with the crinoline paint that I decided to just use the clear wax and call it a day. So I am putting one coat of the clear wax on this piece, wiping back the excess with that shop towel, and then this little stool is finished. And you guys, I absolutely love the way this little thing came out. today, you guys. I hope you liked my simple makeovers and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you'd think about subscribing to my channel and then just hit that little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then don't forget to drop a comment below and let me know which of the projects in today's video your favorite was. Also, as a reminder, the paint products you saw me use today can be purchased through me at my website, and that's www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. I did finally receive my DIY order, so the cottage colors are all restocked, as well as the rest of the paint and products. So that was kind of nice to get that done. And I also, you guys, got my box of Redesign with Prima products, the new Q2 release. So that is something that I'm planning on doing a little reveal for Tuesday's video, but the products themselves will be available on my website Monday at 8 a.m. So go check those out. There are some great new things, you guys. So anyway, for Tuesday's video, it'll probably be the product reveal. I'm also hoping to get out into the nursery, finish rearranging the plants that I got in today, and have a little bit of a tour of the nursery to show you guys, as well as hopefully a junk run. So it should be kind of a mixed bag for Tuesday, but it should be kind of fun. So I hope you'll join me for that. Until then, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye.